So the IEBC has now begun the nomination process today. A lot of attention has been paid on the presidential candidates, but there's two other nominations also happening today. And I'm now joined by Dr. Roselyne Akombe. She is a commissioner of the IEBC. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you very much.
Who else are you nominating from today?
Today was a big day for us at the IEBC because it now feels really that we are in the election mode.
Right.
We were doing for the positions of Senate and also the MCA positions. Those are the three positions that we're having today: presidential, Senate, and MCA.
And I saw a press release out of the IEBC today that by, I believe, around this evening, what were the numbers like?
By 4 p.m. today,
right,
we had reached about 961.
So that is 55 Senate candidates, 4 presidency candidates, and 902 for the member of county assembly.
Exactly.
Those who are knocked out, what are the technicalities that might cause somebody not to go through?
I mean, as you saw from the presidential elections, presidential clearance themselves, you saw some of the challenges that we were seeing, whether you're seeing candidates coming in without proper documentation, without the correct amount in terms of the checks. But also you have cases in which you have candidates or aspirants that are coming to us that belong to more than one political party. We saw those cases. We had cases in which you have orders from the courts that have not been adhered to, and you also had cases in which you have somebody indicated as a member of a political party, but they are also coming in to present their papers as independent. So those are some of the issues that we have been seeing throughout the day, throughout the country. And I think they have been almost consistent in various parts of the country. What happens if somebody is a member of 2 political parties, or it comes with the independent papers but is also registered in a party? In a case like that, it's very clear. You're not supposed to be presenting those documents to us as they are. So those are the cases that are going to form a basis for disputes, because we are going to have a dispute resolution period immediately after the nominations where the candidates will have a chance to present their cases. Is this actual presentation just a formality, or when they bring in the documents, they're actually looking, how do you know if this degree is, for instance, valid, or somebody just faked it? How do you verify the documentation? If you watched what we were doing in the presidential clearance today, we did a very thorough process. We had almost half an hour of looking through the documents. We had already had a working group that was working with the various entities, including the Commission for Higher Education, to look at the degrees. And when a candidate comes for the positions of governor and positions of president and deputy president, for which the degree is required, then we require them to give us the letter from the Commission of Higher Education to prove that that if they got the university degrees outside the country, that those degrees are valid. But for degrees that are received from the country, we required to just have certified copies of those degrees, and we looked at them. So we were very thorough in looking at each of the documentation and going through each of the checklists to ensure that candidates or aspirants that presented their documents met all the requirements. What happened in the presidential race? Because initially you published a list of 18, then you 2 days ago it was down to 8, and then 2 more were added. What happened? You know, Larry, it's a whole process of looking at the various documents that are brought to us. Initially, yes, there were 18 people who had presented themselves as aspirants for the position of president. But then in terms of those that brought forward documents, intent to run, and also the signatures, we had 10. We initially had 8. Right. But then we had 2 that came in after the court order. You recall that there was a court order that lifted the requirement for you to be a member of, that allowed independent candidates to bring in signatories, even those who are members of political parties. So that increased by 2. So that is how you ended up getting the number now rising to 10 rather than the previous 8 that we had published. The ICT director was sent on compulsory leave. This was, I believe, 2 days ago. Yes. What happened? Look, Larry, I think the statement that the IEBC has issued stands for itself. You also had a quote yesterday from the vice chair of the IEBC that clearly provided the circumstances under which the director was sent on compulsory leave. We have been, our goal as the IEBC has been to ensure that we have systems in place that work, and we are accountable for every system that we have in place. And in situations like these where you have a staff member that is not cooperating with an audit process to ensure that we have credible systems that the Kenyans demand of us, then we had no choice but to take action. But we just want to assure Kenyans that this does not mean that we are in a crisis. We are absolutely not in a crisis. We have always said we believe in building institutions, and institutions are beyond one person or one individual. And all we have to do is to ensure that we establish those institutions that can stand for themselves. And we have every confidence that the ICT Directorate, as it is right now, has capable leadership and has capable systems in place to be able to continue its work.
The ICT system is supposed to be tested, the electronic system is supposed to be tested on June 10th.
Yes.
And the ICT director was just sent on compulsory leave. How does this affect that?
As I said, Larry, IEBC is beyond a human being, one person. And the Vice Chair was very clear in saying that yesterday, that this is not about one person or one individual. We have several staff that work within the ICT department. We have several staff that have been intimately involved in the discussions on the RTS, the result transmission system. We have every confidence that the staff that we have the capability to be able to do the work. And today actually was a testimony of it. Okay. Because the candidate registration management system was something that we were trying for the first time, and it worked. And it worked very well, even in the absence of the director. So we have every confidence in the current person who's working there and all the staff. But as I said again, it is about institutions, it's about systems, it's about putting systems in place, predictable systems in place that go beyond us as human beings who work in the commission.
There seems to be some friction within those systems, right? Because the Secretariat has felt that the commission is interfering with its work. Is this a manifestation of that?
Absolutely not. We have complete confidence in our Secretariat. We work very closely with our Secretariat. Our CEO today was very busy working around, making phone calls around the country to ensure that the systems were working, that all our registration officers, returning officers across the country had all the help that they needed. And you saw very clear division of responsibilities in which the CEO sat around, was managing the situation in the country, responding to all the 337 returning officers across the country, while the commission, under the leadership of the National Returning Officer, was receiving the presidential clearances. So we have no problem. You know, there are always challenges. Any institution can be better. We can always be much better than we are. But I don't think we are at a situation in which we should be having headlines saying that the IEBC is in a crisis mode. We are not in a crisis mode. We have every confidence in the staff that we have. We have every confidence in the institutions that we have established. And we can assure Kenyans that we are here to be able to have free, fair, and credible elections come 8th of August.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in, Dr. Roselyne Akombe, Commissioner of the IEBC. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much, Larry.